I don't know what you guys did going into the studio to make this thing happen and to make it sound like nothing else that's out there right now. But I don't know. Maybe we'll start with you talking a little bit about that.
Sure. Well, thank you so much for your kind comments. You know, this was a labor of love, Pioneer. The good news was we had 18 months to figure out what the heck we were going to sound like next and what we needed to say next, which seems like a short amount of time, but frankly, for a sophomore project, that was a luxury of time. And so we got to go on this journey, if you will. And we ended up at a very different place than where we began. But I feel like with every single song that we wrote, the first one being Back to Me Without You, the last one being, what was the last song been? Being Done, absolutely. Each song would kind of change the different direction of the project. We knew in the beginning that we wanted this album to reflect more of who we are live. We're very primitive performers. We have big electric guitars and bigger drum beats live. So we wanted to accommodate more of that in the record. But we also, on the flip side of that, wanted to be more honest and more vulnerable than we had been in our first album, with songs like Back to Me Without You, songs like Pioneer and Mother Like Mine. And so I feel like we really were trying to achieve both sides of that spectrum and, hopefully accomplish that.
You talk about being honest. I can't remember who in the band was talking about being honest and poetic and riding that difficult line in between the two. And I wonder how hard that is for you guys.
And this is Reed, Matt. And yeah, what we were saying was it's really easy to write poetic, great sounding rhymes, if you will, lyrically, but they won't always be the honest that they can be, or what you truly feel, as honest as you want to be. And that's really hard. And so a lot of times we would rewrite these songs, and we'd go back and ask ourselves, is that truly how we feel? And so the answer we can say is yes, that every song off Pioneer is truly what we were feeling at the time, and it is the most honest that we were in that moment.
But we only got there from the work that went into it. And it is interesting how it's so easy, like Reed said, to write poetically, but maybe not 100% honestly. So I hope that we, struck the balance between those two on this record.
And Kim, you were talking about Rick Rubin and working with mechanics and rhyme schemes, and how did he bring that, I guess, poeticism to that honesty?
Rick was a song doctor, and he did deal with our mechanics like rhyme scheme, but I think even more important than that, he did talk about the heart behind it. I remember this one situation, we were in his studio writing in real time, and he had headphones on in the control room, and when we walked in there, he had kind of teared up, but we weren't singing any sort of words that made any sense. It was all kind of jibber-jabber at that point, but it was the music that he was so moved by, like the chords and the melody that we were laying on top of it. And so it was kind of, one of these moments that I really learned how visceral just the music is, and then what the importance is of finding the perfect set of words to really, one, get out of the way of the emotion of the music, and number two, even take it to the next level.
But one of my favorite memories from working with Rick was him telling us that we could not rhyme free and penny. Specifically, he said those free and penny.
Yeah, we're from Alabama. We can rhyme anything.
Well, yeah, it's like hip-hop. You just got to change the cadence of the vowel, and you're good.
Right.
Yeah.
Talking about hip-hop, actually, why not go there? Better Dig 2's got this, I don't know what it is. It's an 808 that kicks off the record, but it's got something like that. For that intro, could easily be sampled for a hip hop tune. Have you guys thought about that at all? Of trying to put it out into that world?
Well, we have from time to time thought about partnering with somebody in the hip hop community, mainly because we're huge hip hop fans.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think there's something about what they're singing about, like real life. And we're singing about real life. There's so many ties that bind those two genres together. So you never know. Maybe we'll, I don't know. I would love to do a collaboration with either Kanye or Jay-Z personally. So we'll see what happens.
Take the two biggest names in the game. All right. Okay, cool.
Right, only Kanye or Jay-Z.
That's right. What did you love about Better Dig 2? I mean, you guys write most of your songs, but that's one that was presented to you, or you heard a demo. I'm not sure how it came about. But what really struck you about that tune that you said this one has to go on a record and open it, for that matter?
This is Neil, Matt. I think one of the things that I don't know, drove us to Benedict too was the exciting music. I think being musicians ourselves, it's one of the things we like to listen to in a song, not just the lyric and the melody, but the music. And the music was exciting. It was intense. It had exciting drum beats. The electric guitar was cool, but the banjo kind of played this haunting, mysterious lick over all the electric. So that's one thing that drove us to Benedict too.
And, lyrically, on the other side of that, so it had this really aggressive set of music, but the lyric was so vulnerable. And, our girl in this song, it's ultimately a love song, albeit kind of a crazy, obsessed love song. But it was just this really backwards written way of saying, hey, that vow till death do us part. I'm going to take it one step further and say not even then. And it's really a sweet sentiment, but it was so aggressive and so haunting, like Neil said. It was a kind of a mixed bag of tricks. I think that's what drove us to Benedict too.
Rolling Stone called you guys death obsessed, I guess, because of that tune and other lyrics you write. So what is it about death that interests you in the songwriting process?
Well, I'm not sure that we're death obsessed, although we all, at one point or another, will have to deal with it.
Yeah.
But, for us, I think it's that, there's nothing quite as final or as romantic as life and death. And so I think that I heard a wise person say one time, you should make every important decision in your life sitting in a graveyard and then ask yourself, will this matter when I'm here? And so I think that we do contemplate a lot, like what, when all is said and done, will our lives have mattered? What will the words that we've spoken have mattered? What will the songs that we sing have mattered? And so that's probably why we end up bringing that theme in a lot, because I think it's important to contemplate, what your chapter here on Earth will mean to those that you know now and to future generations.
Have any of you tried that graveyard decision-making process?
I did it once, and I was so scared I couldn't do it again.
Kimberly, since you're talking, you were saying once that you get inspiration from the fans and listening to their stories. So what songs on this disc came from something of that nature?
Pioneer, 100%. It's the title track of the album, and we were just thinking about, our fans and hearing about different stories of where they are in life. So many of them are beginning or ending school. So many of them have begun and ended relationships and these sorts of things. And, Pioneer is about taking the future by the reins and telling it where to go as opposed to it telling us where to go. There was one really definitive moment. We debuted the song actually on a stage in the UK. And it was really cool. It was a club show that we did. It was very intimate. There were like 500 people there. And I remember we played Pioneer, and you could just hear a pin drop. Everybody was just like really hanging on the words of this song. And then the next night, we played at the same set in London, and we played Pioneer again. There was a group of girls who had been at the show the first night, and when we started the opening mandolin riff on Pioneer, they held up this sign that said, "We won't hush." And it was just like, it really struck the three of us. And I remember we thought about it each, on stage and then talked about it after. Like, that was the one phrase that they took away from Pioneer. And frankly, from the whole night, the night before. And so that was the moment where we were like, you know what, I really thought this was going to be an anthem, for our fans. And that's why we ultimately, because of those girls, ended up naming the album Pioneer. It was very inspiring.
It must be nice to be able to tour now with a whole new batch of songs as opposed, because with one record you're playing, I would assume, the same set every night for a good long time. So what's it been like being able to add all these new songs into the repertoire?
For us, it's been great, and this is Reed, because it breathes in a whole new life to what we've been doing, because we love the songs off the first album, but after 2 years, it's nice to be playing some new music out there. And for everyone else, too, who's seen us over these past 2 years, we've had fans that have seen us probably 15 times. And so to bring in some new music for them as well is great. And it's allowed us to bump up the show as well, add a lot new production, more fog jets and lights and the such. So for us, that helps us take it to the next level, if you will.
Reed, what are some of the songs that off that first record that not that you feel like you have to play every night, but that will remain in the set night after night because they connect with the crowd so much from that first disc?
All of the singles from the first album as well, but Independence is one that we constantly love to play. That and Double Heart as well. Those are two kind of staples that so far we still play in our set.
Cool. What's it like running the stairs every night after a show? How many? What's your record up and down?
I'll be honest with you, I haven't run stairs in a long time, but whenever I do, I feel good about myself.
Yes, and I mean, what's our record? We will actually do jump roping and stair running after shows. But
Yes,
probably 45 minutes. I don't know. Now top.
You got to calm yourselves down after all that high energy, hey?
Yeah, I mean, it's just so easy to get back to the bus and, turn on Big Bang Theory and eat the last bowl of Lucky Charms.
Oh, Big Bang Theory. You like Sheldon Cooper.
We do. We are big Sheldon Cooper fans.
Amazing. We don't have too much time here, so we do something called 5 questions. 5 quick questions, 1-word answers, and you guys can all answer.
Okay.
Road or studio?
Road.
Lennon or McCartney?
McCartney.
When you hear a song, what usually hits you first? Lyrics, melody, or rhythm?
Rhythm for me.
Melody.
Probably rhythm for me, Neil.
Cool. Song you've written you're most proud of?
Goodbye, I am. Hello?
Yeah. Well, I got yours. I'm waiting on the other two.
Oh, go.
I was thinking, probably
Back to Me Without You.
Cool. Is that all three? I think I've only gotten two there.
No, you got all three.
Reed said back to that you, and Neil said done, and I said if
Oh, I didn't hear done. Okay, gotcha. Cool. And in one word, the band Perry.
That's hard.
I know.
Hard workers. There's two.
Fun.
Who said that one? Was that Reed?
That was Neil.
That's Neil.
Neil says fun.
And then Tenacious.
Tenacious is good. Kim?
Did you get mine, hon?
I did not. I'm sorry. I'm waiting for it.
Oh. No, that's okay. I was hardworking. That's 2 words.
Hardworking.
But you can put a dash in
We'll
there.
put a little
make it
hyphen.
one.
Yeah, exactly.